What's up, gentlemen? This is Rising Phoenix Podcast about how to rise up after your divorce. I'm your host, divorce coach, Michael Rhodes. Let's get into it. Hello and welcome to the show. This is episode 135. This is going to be another solo episode, and I'm going to build a little bit off of episode 133. I was saying the other day during a live video that I wish I had the resources to record an episode, a solo episode, go back and listen to it and look for things that I missed or new things that pop into my head so then I could go back and redo them. I just don't have the resources. The time is the big one to do that. So after listening to 133, I think I forgot one of the main points. And yes, I still believe, wholeheartedly believe that part of our staying stuck is that we don't want to lean away from the comfortable. But another part of this thing, especially if we're angry, and I was initially for sure, and still have moments, but especially if we're angry, our ego keeps us stuck. And so what do I mean by that? So if you were left, if the divorce was unwanted, it's wrong unless you were doing something very nefarious. If it was just a general, all of a sudden out of the blue, seemingly that she was unhappy or she was done, then it is wrong. It's a breaking of a vow, a commitment that was made, and especially if it was a long-term relationship, behaviors were the same throughout. I'm assuming mostly, and then all of a sudden they're not. It's no longer good enough. And that can be and that to me is wrong because if even if there were things, and there of course there were that were the lifelong of the relationship, they could be fixed. You could work on these things. And if they weren't, if it was all of a sudden come out of the blue, then that means that it's their situation, their issues that they need to work through, but it doesn't require the ending of a marriage. I think any problem, and obviously there are different circumstances and different behaviors that go outside of the norm. I'm talking about the typical ones we hear: communication, you didn't do enough around the house, those types of behaviors, not enough time spent, any of those types of things, right? Those are solvable things. I'm talking about things that are. I'm not talking about things that are beyond that. I'm talking about solvable things. And so if someone leaves you and there are these solvable issues, then it's wrong. And our egos tell us this. And what can happen is we can stay stuck in that it's wrong, that we can fail to let go in order to move on and to grow. It's like our egos want us to stay firm on the stance that it is wrong. And so therefore we stay stuck in this mode of looking for confirmation because our egos want to be right. We want to be like, no, this is wrong. See, the kid had a bad grade, or look at me, I'm broke, or, I'm so lonely, I can't get a date. And there's no real reason for this to end, and it's wrong. And so then we stay stuck in that and have no ability to move on. And I see it all the time. Guys that post, and I'm not trying to call anyone out, but guys that will post, oh, look at this message she sent. Look what she dressed my kid in, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm not saying that they're not wrong, but when you're looking for those confirmations, it's not about, we all know it's wrong, right? So it's not about furthering you or moving on. It's about making sure your ego is satisfied by staying in this mindset that it's wrong, and I'm going to point out all the reasons that it's wrong. And again, the actions can be wrong, clearly, right? Whatever messages are sent or whatever she dresses the kid in, that can be, those actions can be wrong. But if that's all that you're looking for, you're going to rob yourself of the opportunity to move forward. And so what I think happens is, or I'm pretty sure what happens is, or maybe I'll even say what I know happens is, our egos want us to see it this way. And so therefore nothing good can come of it. So if this is wrong, if this is bad, my ego says this is bullshit. She's fucked me. She's fucked the kids. She's fucked my life. She's fucked my finances. I'm lonely. I can't get a fucking date, et cetera, et cetera. Then that means that our egos stay in check and stay righteous, but that we can't move forward. Because if good were to come, then our egos were wrong, or they feel threatened. And here's the thing, as I said in a live the other day, these aren't mutually exclusive. This can be wrong. She can be wrong. The actions can be wrong and hurtful and damaging and all that. And we also can grow from it. There can be better. Now, better is obviously, dependent upon the person. It's all relevant, right? I don't necessarily think that, or I'm not saying that your life can be better than what it was. I don't know, and that's a difficult one, and I struggle with it. That's it's maybe another topic for another episode. But what I do know is that it can be better than my ego being constantly right and me constantly looking for the wrongness of this and the shit and the thing that keeps me angry. Our lives can be better than that for sure, 100%. If I'm being honest, sometimes I'm not sure that they will ever be, or my life will ever be ever be better. I shouldn't say as good, ever be better than the best of the moments of my marriage. I don't know, because I had an intact family and I can't recreate that. Just like I can't bring my father back. There are certain things that I just can't get back. There are certain things that we just can't get back, whether it be time or people or circumstances or whatever. There are certain moments in time that are just they're never coming back, or there's certain people that are never coming back, and certain relationships that are never coming back. And that's a sad reality, and that's the sad truth. And I don't know that I'll ever be able to recreate the best parts of my marriage. I don't know that, because even if I do recreate or create a new relationship, and that relationship absolutely can be better than my marriage, 100%. But my intact family won't ever be intact again, not in the same way, unless, and this is not some trying to wish anything negative upon my ex, but unless my ex were to pass away, I can't have my intact family. And even then, it's not going to be exactly the same. And so I think not only do our egos have to sit down and shut the fuck up when it comes to being righteous about this event, but we have to sometimes tell it to shut the fuck up around what our futures can look like. Because I don't know. I don't know if the future will be better than the best parts of my marriage. I don't know that, but I don't know that the opposite is true either. And I can make an assumption one way or another, or I can just let the cards fall, the chips fall, whatever you want to say, and not have any kind of expectation or goal. Just to be better is itself, kind of nebulous, or it's certainly not specific enough to achieve. Like, what the fuck does better even mean? But I do think it can be good. And all of these things have to be defined by you as the individual. What does better mean to you? What does good mean to you? I mean, I think for me, good is another relationship that is better, where I'm a better partner and I have a better partner, and I keep continuing to grow and be a better man, which will make me a better father. I don't think I can set my sights on, and I tried to do this, and I think a lot of us are guilty of this, but I certainly was. I tried to plug and play. I tried to find someone new, and almost immediately, 4 months after she was gone. I mean, truthfully, 3 weeks after she was gone, I was having my fun. But 4 months after, I was like, okay, I'm gonna find a girlfriend, and I'm gonna recreate my life, but have it be the same, so to speak, like plug and play, just a new person with my kids half the time. And you can't do that. So it's just, I tried it. It's not possible. And I think a lot of us do that. We think we can just get our old life back by just plugging a new person in it, and you can't. And again, I'm not saying this is good or bad or anything of that nature. It just is. This is the reality. And so I think we have to define what is it that we want, and then that can determine whether or not we can get to it. And we have to make sure that what we want is realistic. And I don't think that expecting our lives to be like they were during marriage is exactly what we should be aiming for. Again, this is up to you, the individual. What do you want to aim for? What do you want to shoot for? But if you're stuck in this is wrong, my ego is loudly confirming this, you're never going to get to what may come next, ever. You never will. Because no matter what, this is going to ripple throughout everyone's life. There's no fucking question. If you have children, and I know some folks that listen don't have children, and I know that some of you have gotten upset in the past with me saying things like, it's easier if you don't have kids. And I am sorry, but it is easier. I don't think that means it's easy. That's not what I'm saying. Again, mutually exclusive, right? It's easier, not easy. So if you have kids, you're going to deal with birthdays. I mean, my youngest is 9 years old. So I have 9 years of birthdays where we absolutely will be interacting in some kind of way, right? I'll have high school graduations. My oldest is going to be 15 very soon. I'll have eventually college, hopefully graduations of some sort, right? I'm sure both of my girls will go to college of some kind of secondary, whatever it is. I don't know. But there will be milestones along that way. Eventually, she's going to get engaged, and there'll probably be a party and an event and things around that, and then marriage and a wedding and all that kind of shit, and then grandchildren, hopefully someday, and then grandchildren's birthdays and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, preschool and events and plays, and it just keeps going. And so you're going to stay. Unfortunately, in some ways, you're gonna stay tied to this person, but don't let that hold you back. Don't let your ego keep you so angry that when you keep having these events and these goings-ons with these exes, that you're never able to move forward. And don't move forward to spite them either. In terms of, I mean, you can do that in terms of becoming a better person. I'm gonna be a better person. I'll show you, type of thing. But don't just get into another relationship to spite that person. And don't get me wrong, I had, and sometimes maybe kind of have that motivation a little bit. I'd like to show her that I am desirable and worthy and all those things, right? There's a part of me that does desire that on occasion, sort of to be able to throw it in her face a little bit. But that's not. That could potentially make you get into something that isn't good for you, but just for you to throw in someone else's face. And that's no way to live. It's not a good motivator. It'll probably put you right back into another shitty relationship. So just be mindful of, if you're constantly pissed at her for her choices and her decisions, just make sure that that's not keeping you stuck in where you are. Turn your radar off that's looking for her bad behavior and start looking for a future that you could obtain. And of course, I think I say this enough, but if not, define what that is, right? You have to define where you're going, or you're never going to fucking get there. So put your focus on those things. Looking for her mistakes and missteps and bad decisions, unless there's some custody implications where you're actively trying to get more custody and you need to find her missteps and bad decisions and all that shit. But otherwise, who gives a shit what she does? It's none of your business anymore. It's none of my business what my ex does. I don't. It's none of my business. Even if and at this point, I don't foresee custody changing in any kind of way. I don't think so. And I'm certainly not concerned with what she's doing on a daily basis. I don't need ammunition. Could I look for things, and then that would reinforce how wrong she is and how, all kinds of nefarious shit I can think about her, right? To corroborate that view that she is a bad person. And here's another example. Look, she, she slept in and the kids missed the bus or whatever, right? Those types of things. Or look, she dressed her my daughter in a dress that's got stains all over it, or whatever. I could look for these. I can continue to do that, but it just does me no good. I mean, and of course I could find some things because she's a human. She's gonna fuck up. I mean, she could find a million things on me. So it's just, again, I think it's not only the comfort, it's that ego telling me, no, this is wrong. This has to be wrong. And for this to be wrong, then I can't ever have good come of it. And I do think you can. I do think you can. Certainly you can have a better relationship than the one you had before because you're a human, she's a human. There were shit wrong with that relationship, obviously, right? I mean, divorce aside, there were issues. And I know you can't really put divorce aside, but I'm saying every relationship has its issues. So therefore you can improve upon the things that cause the issues and get with someone else and at least be conscious of these issues so they can be dealt with. And therefore that makes it a better relationship. I think a lot of us, I know for fuck sure me, I ignored a lot of shit. And I'm not saying I ignored bad behavior necessarily, although there was some of that. I ignored problems because I thought that they would just fucking go away because I didn't want to deal with them. And problems are going to come. So in the next relationship, as long as I am conscious of problems are going to come and I can handle them and deal with them, that's already a better relationship. It's not a scoreboard where you go, well, in this, my marriage, I had this many problems. And in this relationship, I have this many problems. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying about the ability to deal with the problems so they don't cause the end of the fucking relationship. So that's all I got for this one. I think it's a quick one. I say that all the time and I keep talking. It's my gift, I guess. Let me address one thing, and I think I've said this a few times in a few different ways, but I do want to put it out there again. I do have one spot open for coaching if you're interested. It's $600. You can pay over 6 months. If that is even a stretch for you, and money is the issue that's causing you to not reach out to me anyway. My coaching and contributions for this podcast, all of that doesn't pay any of my bills. It pays 0 of my bills. It does get put back into the podcast, but it is not nearly enough. I am not doing any of this. I mean, someday I'd love to make money. I think someday I'm going to have to because the IRS is going to be like, dude, you can't keep losing money. So anyway, so maybe someday, but for right now, I'm not. I have a decent job, a stressful job, although it's getting better. I should say I'm getting better. My anxiety management skills have really just fucking escalated, and they keep getting better. Because I put in the fucking work. Anyway, my job pays the bills. That's not the point of this. It's to help. I would love for it to someday pay the bills, but I'm not holding my breath. I hope it happens. But I'm not counting on it. So, but I can't do it for free because it is time and time is money. So, with that said, my point is if money is what's holding you back from being coached by me, then maybe we stretch payments out a little longer. I don't know. Maybe the total comes down a little bit. I mean, I can't give shit away. I can't give my time away, but, if that's what's preventing you from getting the help that you could use, then don't let that stop you from reaching out to me and having a conversation. So that's all I got for this one. So as always, take care of yourselves and take care of each other. Thank you so much for watching and or listening. Since my separation in July of 2019, I have done an incredible amount of work on myself. I've had many different therapists, life coaches, and went through different programs. I've taken all that I've learned and put it into my own program called Forged by Fire. If you are interested in having me help you navigate your divorce, please hit my website, risingphoenixdivorcecoach.com. I look forward to working with you.